Scrapyard.
All right. So the first order of business is, we have the minutes from, you weren't here at the last meeting? Oh, you were here, okay.
Everybody was.
All right, so we have a quorum available.
Yep.
All right,
Make a motion to accept the minutes for April 3rd, 2023 as written.
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Radioactive.
Yeah, that's, what do we got, a Geiger counter back there?
Kidding. Yeah, Dad, come on, what are you doing?
That could be driving, I'm just concerned about the people coming in on the internet, could be driving them crazy.
I don't know what that is. I'll keep looking, hang on.
Well, if anybody on, coming in online, if they can let us know whether they're hearing that or not, that'd be great.
Got it.
Uh,
Yeah, I just-
We'll move forward.
Yeah, but it's gonna come back as soon as we can.
All right, so we have, next item on the agenda is 81P for 36 Milford Street.
I'm presenting that.
Okay,
This is part of the town's sale of that
Right.
property, and part of the the agreement in the purchase and sale is that they are going to divide the parcel into 3 parcels, one for the storage facility, one remains with the town, kind of with the solar field,
Yep.
but not as a solar field. And then the back piece is going to be donated to the Conservation Commission for open space. And you have the Form A here. I gave it to you. It's out there.
They're up there, but do you have the plans?
It was in the FedEx box.
Oh,
That's why it was
for
on.
me, but I don't see a plan.
well, I just came back. I'll have to run over and get it then.
We can do that after
Yeah, we can do
the
it.
hearing.
Question, why are we, which land do we put in conservation?
I gotta show you on the plan. It would be the north of the storage facility.
So way in the back.
Yeah. It
Out of
was-
Muddy Brook.
What's that?
Out of Muddy Brook.
Yes, and it's part, and it's adjacent to that Muddy Brook Conservation Land.
All right.
So I can explain once she comes back, we can do it after the hearing.
Yeah, we'll move on to the next item on the agenda, which is an 81P for 3 Tower Road.
Bill House and Land Planning?
Nice to see you, Bill. If I could have a copy of the Form A, just so I can make sure it's,
Absolutely.
There's 2 copies of check and also a copy of the variance.
Why don't you put the plans on stage so we can stand?
yeah.
Yeah.
Jack, can you end your screen share until it's time for that?
Oh, you're asking a lot.
Just because everybody at home will see that.
How's that? We're good?
Okay.
Well, this is the one up on Tower Hill, by the park lot.
What the hell is this?
What do you mean?
He's got an invoice of something he purchased on the back side of one of these forms.
That's how we received it.
We're recycling paper.
Oh, Yosemite Eyewear, never heard of them. Let me take a look at this.
I didn't have enough white out.
You need a motion for this?
Yeah, we will. This is a barn up here, right?
Yep, that's the horse farm.
Yeah.
We just had
What do
this
we
on the
got?
drawing. We just did this.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw
In the
that.
summer, maybe?
Yeah.
So you splitting these two? Or,
Okay, the little corner there is the second, that
That's
is
it.
this across the street.
oh,
This
okay,
is the
gotcha.
line that's the line, yeah.
Yeah, so this is just an easement on.
Yeah, so good frontage, you know.
Yeah.
This is the variance of frontage on the existing 17 acres.
Okay.
That's recent too, that,
Yeah, it's
Oh, yeah, I just
Yeah,
need a motion
summer.
to.
I remember Earl Jones on it.
to-
I'll make a motion to approve 81 feet, the 3 Tower Road.
All those in favor?
Aye.
There needs those dimensional requirements with review from the zoning. Don't get a sign.
How you doing?
That saves some time anyway, huh? I think that's what this is.
We have to tell Jay he's gonna do one this evening. Here's the money.
Saves some space.
I'm doing wonderful, Bill. I'm rather than, black or. Hey, and someone told me a year after having a liver transplant that I healed this well. I would never believe them.
So you like back to normal?
I'm better than normal. Still 20 years. Lucky man,
Yeah.
lucky man. Yeah, you can stamp them on there, but I can't sign them on, you know what? Doesn't matter, leave them on. I hear the sign.
David's not online, huh?
No, he is. He's online.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe he's not.
His brother.
I don't see him.
No, he's not on, yeah.
Well, we knew Barry was going to.
Okay. All right, we got nothing really. Really pressing. Oh, yeah, this,
There she is. Right after the hearing, so.
what did we sign? Oh, Jesus. We signed the wrong one. These are the other ones.
Well, that's a couple of days, oh my God. Yeah. It's off again.
We signed the wrong one.
That's all, you got 10 anyways.
Yeah.
Did I miss anything?
No. They voted on the, to endorse. James and then John.
Same thing.
V Tower Road?
Yes.
Yeah, I made the motion, Jimmy seconded.
Oh,
Okay.
opposite.
Okay.
If all of this was this simple, huh?
Yeah, you got 3. Get enough wood up there now?
Wood?
Yeah.
Yeah, my wood shed's full and I'm extra.
Yeah.
I'm almost gonna fill my mom's wood shed
Yeah.
too. Did you take any?
Oh, yeah, I did. Probably did quite.
So you want,
Wow.
But I burned about 5, 6 years.
Oh, yeah, I'm about 3.
I'm gonna show you outside today. You drove by.
I don't
I
know.
told you.
It was us.
No,
Tool
I
around
didn't
Jimmy's,
hear you.
Dodge.
What's that?
I didn't hear you tell me that it
Oh,
was,
this morning, I said these,
All right. We can get this meeting, no problem, Bill.
it was so softly.
Oh, I'm a soft speaker,
Yeah.
not loud.
All right, next item on the agenda is
Where is the check?
continuation of public hearing for 147 Hartford Avenue East. Requested continuance to May 15th.
They are finalizing the traffic. They met with our traffic consultant. I think they got a handle on it now.
We have a letter from them? Aha, we do, and I will read that in. It says, "Hi Gail, there's a email I sent Jack last week. Please continue the public hearing." And it says, "Hi Jack, moving forward with the traffic study as discussed on our Zoom meeting. I will be asking you for continuance." So obviously they want a continuance for the traffic study.
You have to check.
It was attached to one of those.
Yeah, you had it, I think you gave it to Gail.
It was stapled to it.
It's stapled here.
But,
You gonna sign the other one too, Jim?
all right,
For the next.
so I need a motion to continue the public hearing for
I'll make a motion to continue public hearing at 147 Hartford Avenue till May 15, 7 o'clock.
Any comments from the, none?
6.
6, I'm sorry. I'm used to the old time.
All those in favor?
Aye, sorry about that.
That one's taken care of.
Habit.
All right, continuation of the public hearing for 55 Cape Road, requested continuance to May 15th. I think at the last meeting, we continued mistakenly to the 22nd.
Correct.
We're now moving that continuance to the
And
15th.
he will be there even if the
bells
plans
on?
aren't done. Because you wanted him.
Yes, I want him to come forward because there is some questioning from people of what the operation is actually doing.
Right.
And the simple fact that he did not get a use applied when he started that business. I don't know why the town didn't request that he come before planning, but that's water under the bridge. But we should find out what he's doing before we
Yep.
allow a change.
He knows that.
Okay.
Do you
I'll
have
make a
to
motion
vote
to
to-
continue 55 Cape Road till May 15
Second.
at 7 o'clock.
Any
6.
comments?
6.
6.
Any comments from the community?
Learn it here.
Nope, okay. All those in favor? Aye. That item is disposed of. On to the last item, and I will read into record the advertisement in the newspaper. These are the proofs of publication. All right. It says, in accordance with MGL Chapter 40A, Section 5, the public hearing will be held on Monday, April 24th, 2023 at 6 PM to see if the town will amend the following sections of the amended zoning bylaws by adding a new section of 5.05 for an age-restricted mixed-use overlay district with an amended table of uses and corresponding allowable uses, or corresponding map, excuse me. The RMUD includes a section on purpose, definitions, applicability, allowed uses, approval process, submittal requirements, waivers, modifications, enforcement and severability. The public hearing will be held in the Town Hall, 20 Main Street, Mendon. Copies of the proposed amendments will be available for review at the Planning Board office of 18 Main Street and on the town website. So those were in the paper on April 7th and 14th, which meets the requirement. And I believe what I have in front of me is the final draft. Do we have that draft to put up on the board? Or do you want to do your,
Yeah, I'd rather do my thing first.
do your thing first, and then we'll move on to the bylaw itself.
Because there are probably going to be questions specific to the draft. I'm just going to give an overview. I was trying to figure out how to kick this off, but when I first got here, you were just starting to have discussions. Maybe they were informal, maybe they submitted on 15 Hastings and Washington for a grocery store and housing. And that's still in front of you. And at the time, I remember making a statement that I thought the concept was a good concept. The town, you know, I've been in the town 2 years almost, and it certainly needs a small grocery store, and it certainly needs over 55 housing. that people can retire and live their lives out. And maybe the town they grew up with, maybe not. But the problem has been, there wasn't a lot of consideration with the neighborhood, and there wasn't, there were problems with the current zoning, in my opinion. And that's for, both issues are technically in front of ZBA. So we've been kicking around all these peer review reports to take care of the impacts, which I think are more than appropriate, and we haven't even settled those yet. But I was approached at one meeting, it was probably maybe 2 months ago, by a resident, direct abutter, and she had told me that several of the neighbors and other residents were not only signing a petition, but meeting to talk about this project. And so I asked if I could be invited, with the notion that something's going to happen there. And it's either something the town can have a hand in and make sure that it's something the town can be proud of and usable to the town, and it's safe for the neighborhood and accommodates the neighborhood. But the current zoning was not going to do that. It was just not going to do that. So I have to say, the neighbors I've met with and other people I met with back then, and I probably have met with them 8 times, maybe less, maybe more, about trying to write a bylaw that does just that, protects the neighborhood, but allows for these small-scale, walkable developments to happen in town. And I'm just going to kind of walk through the story as I see it and the bylaw on how we came up with what we have. And there were many, I mean, from the day this came to the planning board and even before, because Bill's been working on this simultaneously, actually, I've gotten so many comments, most of them all of them positive, but a lot of good comments that I've incorporated into the bylaw, both from the development side, the resident side, and boards and commissions side. And I think the bylaw is getting closer and closer to meeting that goal. That's what I'm going to say. And we got some comments today, and I'll talk about that at the end, because obviously I haven't looked at them and I'm not in any position to comment completely. So all I need is this to work, and we're good. Hold on. Isn't this working? All right, Dan.
Your screen sharing.
I
There's
know.
gonna be a delay.
All right, here we are. I got it. So we're calling this the age-restricted mixed-use overlay district in Armud. Not the best name in the world, but it's what it is. And the purpose is to increase the availability of age-restricted homes, to promote walkable neighborhoods, encourage a diverse mix of commercial, office, and residential uses for everyone, residents, workers, and visitors, and to advocate for smart growth principles. And that means that we try to do low-impact development on drainage, we try to reduce the impacts on the environment and the neighborhood in itself. So mixed use. A lot of, I'll get into this a little later, but a lot of the times if you Googled mixed use development and things like that, you find it mostly in small cities or bigger cities with the apartments on top and the commercial on below. You don't find too many real rural or small suburban towns with a true mixed use and a walkable community. But that's essentially what a mixed use is. It's a combination of those uses. And age restricted is the development of the land consisting of multiple structures on a common lot. And that could be condominiums, it could be apartments, it could be houses. And town council alerted me, and I did not realize this, I guess, and it's in the middle of that paragraph on age-restricted mixed use that states that at least 80% of the dwelling units must be occupied by at least one person who is 55 or older. So one of the discussions I think we should have is right now the bylaw has this as a definition, and it's silent in the bylaw itself as to, well, it's silent. So as of now, we're following this, but if you read it, it states that at least 80%. So in my mind, it could be 100%. And I've done over 55 in many communities, and a lot of them are 100%.
Should be 100%.
Right. So I think we should talk about amending it to address it that way.
Hey, Bill, just so you know, I'm on.
Okay,
Thank you, Dean.
thanks, Dean.
Thanks, Dan. So this is just an example. This is a little bigger scale than we're talking, but again, as I looked on trying to find examples of mixed use in a rural setting, there's very few. And there's some commercial on the right and some different types of mixed use on this is just an example. I think it's in Maryland.
I do a lot of traveling around the state of Massachusetts in my business. And the one thing, especially in Western Massachusetts, a lot of these type of developments are extremely prevalent. Mixed use developments, it's one of the first things CMRPC, when they got involved in the master plan with Mendon, was surprised to find out that Mendon had no type of mixed use opportunities. Now, with that being said, there, when you go out into a lot of areas of Western Mass and stuff, mixed use is towns like Amherst or Hatfield or Belchertown, you know, towns extremely similar to our footprint, find the need for the use of mixed use. And like I said, CMRPC, that's one of the recommendations through the master plan, is to develop a mixed use component to our, whether it be in the commercial districts or whatever. But there are several there's one in Norton, right off of 495. If anyone got the opportunity to ever go down there and check it out, it's really nice, and it has a mixed use product. It's a little village that has both some storefronts and a lot of over 55. It's a beautiful community, and it's hopefully something we can earmark this after.
And so this is just an example. This is the more traditional mixed use. It's small. I can't speak for the palm trees, but that's coming maybe. And then another one I found with commercial in the front and the residential in the back, or on the side actually, the commercial is. Again,
This is more what you'd see in a small town like that.
yeah, mixing uses, so it's a walkable community, but still accessible to everyone in the community. And that's probably scalable to something that we're talking about. I forget where that is, so I can't comment on that. And then another one with the commercial in the back, and this one is surrounded by the different types of housing. So, you know, it's kind of what people, especially people that are retiring, want to be in. And I think if it's accessible to the town, it serves both purposes. And then some of the housing you see in over 55, these would be individual, either ownerships or condominiums, but separate. And another one, these are joined, even though they kind of look like they're different. So the allowed uses we're proposing is obviously, like I said, in multifamily individual houses, condominiums, small apartments. We're limiting it to 2 bedrooms with density restrictions, which I'll talk about. And then appropriately scaled commercial uses like a small grocery store, retail shops, law offices, banks, personal services. You see them all over. We talked a lot about what's the mix, And one of the biggest concern of everyone, including myself, was that we didn't want someone to take advantage of this and do it all commercial with no housing. And so we had to write something in there to not allow that, or to have all housing and no commercial. That's not mixed use. So we kind of did it, and we're proposing that the commercial piece has to be no less than 20% and no greater than 60% of the developable area. So that gives the developer some range to mix appropriately and really to negotiate with the planning board on how that mixed use looks. And every site is different. Every site will be different, from the topography to the location to the access. It's always different. So that's what we came up with, and we didn't get too many comments on that, so I'm comfortable with that. Submittal requirements, the planning board deals with this stuff all the time. It's all the land use or the land development criteria, proposed streets, ways, any public land, landscaping, contours, stormwater systems. Again, LID is low impact development stormwater systems, and infrastructure, a rendering of the proposed development, and the board, as they have done already on Hastings Street, but could do in the future and have done it in many other projects, can do a traffic impact assessment, environmental, fiscal, meaning what's the taxes that we recoup versus the taxes we would spend or on such a development, and then the community impact. What's the impact on the community? And it's much more detailed in the bylaw. One of the big ones for some of the residents we talked to is about back in 2020, I think right before COVID.
Yeah, we adopted the guidelines.
The planning board adopted design guideline handbook, and this is available online, and we could certainly get hard copies for anyone. But this really talks about how we design our lighting and our parking and our signage, our landscaping, streetscape. If there are historic structures and they're not in a district, how can we enhance those historic structures and a lot of other amenities. And these are all outlined in the design guidebook, and in the bylaw it says that the developer has to take these into consideration. Submittal requirements. We talked a lot about this, and we're all over the place. But we're saying, at least for now, at least 10 contiguous acres. There could be multiple lots under the same ownership that are next to each other, as long as they equal 10. 10% of the dwelling units, 10% of the over 55 dwelling units must meet the state's affordable housing requirements for low to moderate. Mendon has one of the worst records for affordable housing. The state keeps track of these. We're about 1.7%. We are vulnerable for 40Bs until you're at 10%, and that's a lofty goal. This would at least have us treading water and getting a little closer to that. You have to have at least frontage of 100 feet on a highway or business or general business district. In other words, you can't access this through a residential zone, a current residential zone. Height is 35, that's 2 stories. And then the access and egress, and there's more detail in the bylaw, but it has to go through the commercial portion, which means the highway or general business. And it cannot be through a secondary road, rural residential road, or historic district. And that includes the, emergency access can, as long as it's gated and there's a mending key system to allow public safety vehicles in and out. And that was very important. I mean, it's extremely important to the neighbors I talked to. Waivers. We're promoting that any waiver from this has to be a unanimous vote of the planning board, not a 3-2, not a 4-1, but a 5-0, 4-0, or 3-0, whoever's there. But they can grant waivers regarding design or dimensional or some dimensional requirements, provided good cause for requesting the waiver, that the request is minor in nature, that it's not structurally significant, and will not derogate from the intent of the bylaw. Under no circumstance will the planning board waive the minimum lot size, the maximum commercial percentages, or any design or dimensional requirement that has a direct impact on abutters. I think that's self-explanatory. And then, before I talk about this, then we had to decide, well, where are we putting this? Now, obviously, I mean, it's well known. We've been working, let me back up. Once the neighborhood group started to put something, an outline of what this could look like, I started working with the chairman of the planning board and the developer of Hastings Street. And actually, the developer's representative was more than gracious to meet with us at least 2-3 times, maybe 4 times. And we started trading ideas. And so what you see today has been more or less agreed upon. I'm not going to put words in anybody's mouth. There's probably nuances that aren't or are. It's changing a lot. But that the concept of what we put together seems to be agreeable so far. I'm trying to pick my words very carefully. So the next thing we talked about is, where are we putting this? And the notion is, should we just do it with Hastings Street and try it and see if it works? And if it works, hey, we've got a winner here. Let's try it elsewhere. And we also talked about, well, let's see where else is appropriate. And so what I did first was I mapped out every parcel that has 100 feet of frontage and 10 acres that's on Route 16 or Providence Street or Cape Road. And I can't remember how many there were, 25 maybe, something like that, 30 parcels. And we started picking away, well, and the residents knew much more about the town than I do. And we slowly culled a lot of these out. And we kind of settled on 4 for now. And I say that because I'm very open to this. I would hate, if you believe this is a good idea and a good bylaw for the town, I would hate for it to be defeated at town meeting because we have a parcel in here that is objectionable for reasons I don't know, other than Hastings Street. So
Well, I'm sure there's something we could deal with on town floor if someone brought that up.
And maybe. So there are the 4 parcels. This is number 45. It kind of has frontage, but only the 100 feet on Uxbridge and a little bit on Hartford West. Then the Hastings property, then the town-owned property, and then this is the Sweet property. And both owners of all these properties have been notified and been going through all the bylaws with us hand in hand. So I don't know what's the best strategy, and I've told everybody this. I don't know what's the best strategy in doing this. There are some that say we should do it à la carte. Okay, here's one parcel, what does town meeting think? Here's another parcel, what does town, or some said just do one and see if it works. If it works, do it. We've got something, let's try it elsewhere. If it doesn't work, we learned our lesson. And then others said, well, let's do every parcel on Route 16 that has 10 acres and 100 feet of frontage. That seems insurmountable to me at this moment, but
I don't think there's a lot that would meet that criteria on 16 anyway.
yeah. And I can tell you, at least on Cape Road, there was one parcel, but it was wet and we've just abandoned it. There were several parcels on Providence Street, but the farther you go out on Providence Street, the more rural it gets. And not only would it probably not be the best idea, best for any commercial component, it probably, we just said, let's.
Did
stay
we
away.
address the, where the town's intending to put in the garden apartments? That's going to need some type of particular
Where
zone.
the town would what?
Is looking to put those garden apartments.
The what? I'm sorry.
Garden apartments,
Oh, the affordable housing, 52 Providence?
yeah.
Oh, we did talk about that. We stayed away from that on purpose. That's a friendly 40B. Yeah, Bill's talking about 52 Providence right next to the senior center. There's a group of people before me that have been advocating for a small, friendly 40B where the town is a partner on the town land. We went out to bid, but unfortunately, we didn't get any bids.
I think that's without proper zoning in place. You might find it difficult to get anybody to bite on that.
Yeah, so
But-
anyway, that's what I put in. I want to say one other thing that I mentioned in the beginning. I did get some very good comments today, but I was not in town today. I rushed here to get here. And I have not had a chance to really chew on those. Maybe some of the residents have. So I'm going to suggest, Bill, whenever you're at that point tonight, that we might want to continue this to May 1st. May 1st.
May 1st.
And
Next Monday.
fine, then I can tell you what everyone, and I mean developers, abutters and townsfolk, think about those changes and we'll plug them in.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I had a chance to quickly review some of this stuff today. A lot of great ideas. So I'd like them to make the first pass. Not everything
Oh,
is
I
a
forgot,
terrific
there's
idea.
another example.
Yeah.
Housing, commercial housing.
I will tell you, if you travel around enough, you'll see enough of these. South County down in Rhode Island has a couple of them. They're more of like a cul-de-sac feature with multi-use on each side, the lower half's commercial, the upper half is residential. Very good settings. I mean, the key is with towns like us, you're never going to stop growth. It's just not going to happen. You just got to manage it properly. And that's what this board tries to do. Try to manage it. And if the town works together and come up with bylaws like this, which I think is a real good idea for Mendon, I think that happens. Honestly, I think it happens. Does anybody, first of all, on the board, have any comments regarding it? Other than the changes,
Sounds pretty good.
I don't know if you guys have seen
I was on the
today's
road.
request of changes,
I
but
haven't had a chance to give it to anybody. I
Okay.
apologize. I just didn't have a chance.
I
yeah,
just read it on the line.
no problem. We have another week to go over it, and I'd like to just to make sure that everybody takes that opportunity from the board perspective and the community, that if you have a chance to review it, I commonly end up on town floor, and, it seems like at that point in time, the questions come. It's very difficult when you're sitting in a room with 100 people and all of a sudden we got 100 people asking questions at town floor. This public hearing is where these questions should come and arise. We can do a lot better job scoping out this bylaw if people take the time to review it, go over it, and give us their ideas before we get to town floor. So we're not trying to do this thing with 100 people all screaming and hollering in at the same time. It's better if it happens in this environment, makes it crystal clear when we go to the floor. As Jack and I have spoken many times, I look at this as one of the, I've done a lot of changes. When I came to Mendon, the town zoning book was 9 pages. You could pretty much do anything you wanted in this community, any way you wanted to. It is now 90, and it's going to go north with this one of 100. This is probably one of the best pieces of zoning that we have done. I think this is an important piece for the community. I think this is a good perspective, walk before we run. I start with a few properties, see what it ends up looking like, see if the people like it. But it's an opportunity for people who grew up here or lived here all their lives to stay here. Buildings like developments like this, that's what it achieves. And it doesn't impact the schools as much. Yeah, you get a little bit more at the fire department or the emergency, but it's well offset by what we see in the school systems and whatnot. But I'll take any questions from the community if you have them.
Have you guys looked at, I know like zoning board of appeals is supermajority, planning board's usually not a supermajority. You guys are saying that.
I got to check on that. I know what you're going to point to.
Majority of 100%.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's even legal.
The town council had no issue with it.
I've never seen it in another.
I haven't either.
The reason why is that the state no longer requires even supermajority on multifamily dwelling.
For towns that have
Right.
accepted the terms
you know-
of the housing choice, which we
Right,
have not.
but that gets perforated down and out. I mean, I'm just looking at a legal
Yeah, I'll
standpoint.
ask town council
But to be
again
honest with you-
specifically about that.
You have looked in that.
Yeah.
But to be honest with you, I mean, none of
I know
those,
that's in your comment.
none of those items would probably be waived anyways. But to the point being that I think it would, regulatory wise, it would be hard to defend. And that's what people need to understand too when we develop these bylaws. We need to be, a bylaw is only as good as it can stand up in court. Okay, I mean, we found that with adult entertainment. I mean, it cost the town $1 million that it didn't have because it was a poorly written bylaw. The planning board at that time, which none of these members were on, decided to allow the community to write a bylaw. That is something the planning board should have taken over and handled writing that bylaw. That should have never been handled by the community. That was totally ridiculous and it was poorly written. So, when these bylaws are written, it has to be in the scope of what we think is winnable in court.
Hey, Bill.
Yes,
So just a quick question. I know there was a lot of people that met with Jack and met with, maybe you may have been there also, that had concerns about the Hastings Street property. I mean, is this bylaw that, I know that a lot of the residents worked with you guys to get this to where everybody wanted it and everybody was happy about it. Is there truth to that?
you know what, Dave and I have a rule, we go to town floor and we find out.
Well,
That's what I mean. I mean, all this work that everybody put into it and met with residents and everybody put their 2 cents in. And
I think we're in a
they
good,
still,
my opinion is, Dane, we're in a pretty good place. Town
wait,
floor, if it's not perfect, we're allowed to amend on town floor and we can do that there.
Can I answer that, Bill? Damon, I can tell you this. I'm sure. I've come to have a high degree of respect for everyone that I've met with and their sincerity in trying to make this a better bylaw for the town, certainly for them, but also understanding that a developer has to develop. I mean, that's how things happen. So I'm not putting words in their mouth that they are 100% behind this. I doubt they are, but do they, I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
I've been given a lot of confidence that we're going in the right direction.
And-
Okay, thank you.
That's all I can say.
And we've had good input from people that have had input in our bylaws in the past that I've utilized. Leanna Moore and a few others that worked on the bylaw review committee have weighed in on this, and they feel it's a good bylaw for the community. And, so we had a lot of input into this.
Okay, sounds good, thank
You
you.
always have to look at the alternatives, and that's the difference. What would the alternative be?
I think it's a needed bylaw,
But,
needed.
Jay, did you have a question? I saw.
No, I was just gonna say, I have J Cross 17 Washington Street. I have no problem saying that I've been a part of this and had the opportunity to speak with Jack and John as well. And I felt like it was a workable solution. That being said, I also didn't feel comfortable speaking for the people that supported me in the petition that was submitted to the zoning board on the original proposal. But I hand-delivered a letter that was shared to all of those people individually over the weekend, alerting them of this meeting and the opportunity to weigh in and ask questions. Many of those people are probably in the audience on Zoom.
Yep.
And now's the opportunity, if they have questions, that they should ask them.
Absolutely. I mean, that's what we're here for.
Right, I mean, that's kind of what I was getting at. You know,
I like you on.
guys, everybody worked so hard on this, and then we end up with, a bunch of negativity at the town meeting. Some people are against everything that happens in town. I'm just trying to figure out where we're going with this, so we're not wasting everybody's time.
As usual, Damon, everybody has an opportunity to speak here, but unfortunately, I mean, I'm just looking, we got 14 people there and another 6 or 7 here. So we've got 20 people making a decision for 6,000. That's how it commonly works in the town of Mendon. We just have to put something forth that we believe is good for the town of Mendon and let the people decide. You know what, and we'll do that. And then let them, we answer to town floor. That's what people don't realize. When we go through these things or an application comes in and we might have, 30 people out there not liking the project. But the bottom line is, when we put that bylaw out there, if people are paying attention or review the bylaw when we do it, they'll understand that the town, the community as a whole voted for that. It's not the board making, a decision. The town voted for that. So when we put something like this important in front of the community, it's important that everybody gets involved. I will take any questions.
So I want to go on the record. So I did work with the abutters and Jack and Joyce Gilmore on the Board of Health, and we worked on a plan, and I moved stuff. I did the best I could for the abutters and stuff. I feel every time I open my mouth and mention the word comprehensive permit, everybody thinks it's a threat. And I don't mean it as a threat to anybody. What I'm trying to say is I've been in the engineering and development business for 40 years. I used to work for an engineering company, so I've worked with many different developers. They always seem to find a way to do what they want to do. And the 40B gives them that opportunity to do that. When I mention 40B and trying to get this bylaw through the town, I do it in the context of if something can't be done for a bylaw, the only option that you give developers is to come in with a comprehensive permit. So by offering a developer another way to get a mixed-use unit and more units on a lot, but save open space, what it does, it gives them an opportunity to do something other than a comprehensive permit. Most developers don't really want to come to the town and do a comprehensive permit. So if they have another option, they'll go that option first. So I honestly, I don't mean it as a threat when I bring it up in a meeting. I don't mean it as a threat when I bring it up in an email. I mean it as, you know, if you take all the other options away from a developer, they're gonna go towards the comprehensive permit. That's why I think it's important to try to work through all the differences and get this bylaw passed.
I should have mentioned one other thing, is that in Mendon, we do not allow multifamily, period.
Correct.
2 families, the most you can have. So having over 55 housing is impossible today.
That's why this bylaw is important. Not just for Hastings Street or maybe some of the others, and maybe it grows. Maybe Mendon decides that we're a great bedroom community. That's the best thing about Mendon. Great bedroom community, and this may be an opportunity that it expands later. Like I said, we'll walk before we run, and we'll just continue taking a look at this. And I mean, that's what planning's role is, to take a look at something like this, try and make it fit the community. And as it goes, if we need further expansion, that's planning's role. That's what planning's job is. When we do these things, it's on economic development. It's on, I mean, people don't realize some of these projects are jobs they bring to town, the housing they bring to the community. And once again, with 10% affordable, because Mendon has actually gone backwards in affordable units because of the houses that have been built over the last several years. We were at actually, I think, 2.2% at one point. We have gone back 0.5%. When the state last year enacted these new multifamily regulations in communities that were in towns with public transportation or the neighboring town, which is what Upton is now falling into. And Upton is going to see more of that type. It's as of right in Upton right now, multifamily units, because they're one of those towns. We all know when the state starts something like this, if it works in those towns, it's coming to Mendon soon. They'll expand this and they'll have, because they want people living in the suburbs, they don't want people in the cities. So it's going to expand to Mendon sometime. May not be in the next 10 years, maybe in the next 10 years. But we need to be prepared for that. And if we utilize the property we have now to the best, there won't be land for them to, if we develop properly the land that we have, there won't be land for them to use. There won't be land for those type of developments to come to town and build here.
I'd like to make a recommendation. Before anybody, whether they're on Zoom or here, before they make a decision that they don't like this type of zoning, maybe 8 or 10 years ago, I went to Norton and looked at that project. And I got to tell you, you drive through that project, you would say to yourself, how could I not want something like this in my community? It was absolutely beautiful how they designed it. It was clean as can be. There were no cars on the side of the roads. There were rules and regulations to whether or not they could even leave their cars on the street or not leave their cars on the street. Every unit was different. It looked like you were driving through one of the best designed streets in the town of Norton. And the commercial that was in the front, everything that was there was something that each person in that community would use. There was a beauty salon there was a barbershop there, there was a post office there, a drugstore there. And I got to tell you, I can't say enough for the small time it's going to take to drive to Norton. Before you make your mind up, you got to look at this thing. It was impressive.
And it's not the only one. It's become a great.
See them everywhere.
You see them everywhere now. Norton was one of the model ones at the beginning. People kind of started developing around that type of model. What Jack showed you on with a commercial space and then residential around. There's one up in Wayland on Route 20. I believe it's Route 20 that has done that. They've developed a section, they put a road in, they develop a section which is commercial underneath, residential on top, and in behind it, they have individual residential housing, small little units. And it's become its own sort of little town. It's amazing to watch how they built this thing. But that is becoming a reality in a lot of communities. I mean, Wynn's certainly not a Wayland, but I mean, they're usually extremely restrictive of anything that's being built. But
really, just keep an open mind and just take a ride up there. I'm telling you, you're going to be impressed. It really is that impressive.
Brendan,
Brendan Chanel, 16 Washington, direct abutter, speaking as an abutter.
Yeah.
Just on that point, you're talking about how nice all these look. Is there going to be an opportunity either tonight or before the meeting to look at the plans for the people on Zoom? Maybe they haven't seen it and see exactly what.
the plans on the particular one,
No, it's not proposed, but.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, we
I have it, if John's okay, it's not my plan to show.
I brought a plan to put on the easel. I'm more than likely sharing it.
I have it here, Bill.
it's all nebulous until it's on the screen.
Yeah, the only thing, I don't want to get too off track. This is about a bylaw.
Understood.
Yeah. I try to keep my meetings, you've been to enough, I try to keep them focused, but I will certainly let him, well, you got to move the easel so people can see it.
I have some.
He's got it on the screen too, Bill.
Oh, all right.
He's got it on the screen.
Is that right? Is that the right? Yeah.
Effort.
Since it's our first.
Hey,
That's
John.
small. You guys on?
How's your back?
I'm a little sore. A lot of going. 36 holes a
Hey,
day.
how many holes?
36 a day, 4 straight days.
Oh my God, where you guys this?
My friend's still 25 years old.
The problem is when you do that, there's no way you can golf well for,
No, how do you want me to move this?
don't worry about it, we got it on the screen.
We got it on screen anyway.
Yeah, so this one just, I did add the walking path to this. I'm not gonna go through the whole thing, you can see what it is. What I can tell you is, through the meetings, with the abutters, we've moved the original plan had a deeper residential section and units all through the woods here around, the property at 61, what's your address, Brendan? 16 Washington Street, with a road coming in from Washington Street next to 20 Washington Street and kind of looping up like this with more commercial coming back in this area. So when I was working with the abutters, what we did is we've moved everything into the area of the site that's already cleared for the driving range. We're clearing very few trees. We're clearing trees for the 2 septic systems, the small gravel road for the wells, and a little bit behind these 3 or 4 units here because they're kind of back up to the wall. They're bigger trees. I don't think we'll have to clear too many, a couple. But anyway, we're clearing like 15% of the existing woods, and the rest is staying natural. I think we originally had an entrance on Washington Street here, an emergency exit on Worsonby Street here. We've worked to bring everything out to Route 16, so all the entrances are, both entrances for the whole development come through the commercial portion of the property. I've met with the historic committee a while ago. I showed them some different house plans with different fronts. They're all similar, but they all have kind of different, you can pick different fronts and different rocks and different porches and different roof lines. So the units will look slightly different. The total density is like 2.45 units for this residential portion that's in yellow of the site. The original plan was at 265, actually higher. They looked like they were spread out more, but in reality, because the commercial zone took up so much space, their density was actually higher, 2.65. They were spaced pretty much the same. There was 27 units before. There's 33 new ones now, plus the 3 existing. The 12 Washington Street house that to be renovated, the 22 Washington Street house that it would be renovated. And the bond would be raised, but we put a similar bond structure up there with one of the units in it. I think, you know, we've done a good job. I don't think you'll see the units from Washington Street. We have screening all in the backs. We have screening between the commercial portion of the property and the residential portion of the property. We got a 0.65 mile walking trail that kind of meanders through the woods that we won't cut trees for. We'll just meander it through the woods, and it'll come out, and there's a little loop around the sidewalk, around the residential portion. It should be a nice, livable, walkable community. The supermarket has prepared foods. It has breakfast items, coffee. There's an outdoor garden center, and right now we have a separate standalone residential commercial unit that would be, we believe, Wink Salon would move there.
So John, just so I see, the sidewalks on the interior?
Yeah, the sidewalks on the interior. We loop it around.
What about, oh, I see, it's on this far end over here, okay, I
Yeah,
got
the
it.
connection comes down the side, and the walking trail comes along the backside.
Yep,
Here down. We're still open to suggestions. This is kind of a sketch plan we've been working on. We'll have to, so like I said, this meeting's not about this plan, it's about the bylaw.
right, exactly.
Even though we have this agreement, we still have to go through the whole process. If the bylaw gets passed, we still have to meet all the requirements of the bylaw for our special permit. We will have to send out all new butter notifications. Everybody will be notified, invited to the meeting.
I don't want to,
Yeah.
I don't want to go on about this project, because that's not really what it's about.
Yep, thank you.
Does that answer your question, Brendan?
Absolutely. I
Alright.
just thought it would be useful for
Yeah.
people online.
Well, it is. I mean, obviously, we want as much support. That's why I allowed us to discuss, but generally, you know me, I wouldn't normally allow that to happen, but in this case, I think it made perfect sense. I think what we need to do is, I think Jack's right, we need to table this for another week. Jack and I need to get together and work on some things and make sure this thing is nice and tight for next Monday's meeting. And then, you know, hope we come back next Monday, we can get something everyone is agreeable on, and, you know, put it in front of the town the following week, and everybody says yes, hopefully, but I just
Again,
did,
I would recommend that people take a ride to Norton,
this is something I've been
telling you.
after for probably at least 10 years to get in Mendon. This is important to me. So many people have come up to me in the street and said, when are we going to have some type of senior housing? I get emails. When's Mendon going to do anything about senior housing? So it's something I've been working on for quite a while. And Jimmy told you, we've gone and visited other ones. I personally have visited many of them. And they're amazing communities, and talk to the people at them, and they love living in them. Because neighbors are close by, they, you know, especially someone over 55, most of them are over 65, and they're looking for someone to talk to, you know, and it's, so, I think it's important.
Last week up in Granby.
Yeah, Yep.
Very nice.
yeah, they just,
Maybe we could get John to add a little community building for people to gather, and, you know, for the, you know, the folks that are in there that are, you know, up in age, so they don't have to, you know, all go to the senior center. Maybe they could have a little community center or something. It's just an idea or something, but again, I can't say it enough.
but I don't want to get on this, I don't want to get on this project, because there could be others, and they're all going to be different. And they all just got to address the bylaw, and that's it. So this bylaw is important to me. Hopefully the town sees its value, and
Should be important to everybody.
yeah, hopefully the town sees its value. Fortunately, unfortunately, you know, it's a democracy, and everybody has their opinion and vote. So hopefully at town meeting, we can get this approved. And that's the idea. So, Come to next Monday's meeting and with all your suggestions, and let's see if we can get them all incorporated. If you have any during the week and you want to forward them, you can, Jack's email's on the website. Send any of your suggestions through. And we'll let you know whether they're viable or not.
There's been no shortage of recommendations.
Yeah, I know.
Is the draft bylaw available for review as well?
I think it's,
The latest,
Yeah,
I think you probably have it, but
for
I,
posts.
oh, you want me to put it?
post it on the website.
It's linked.
Yeah,
Oh,
post it
it
on the
is.
website.
Okay, it is.
But
then we should make sure to do it again for the next meeting.
Yeah,
Yeah, we should try, Jack, you and I probably need to get together later this week and deal with this because we need to get it on the website before next Monday's meeting.
yeah, and I'll make sure, if any of the residents, they all got John's memo, so we'll see if they have comments. I'll talk to town council about that 100%, and we'll go over John's comments and incorporate what we think we can.
Yeah.
For
I mean,
sure.
you know what, I see John's point with the 100%. I'm not concerned about it because a lot of those things you wouldn't waive anyways. But, you know, I'm just worried about regulatory whether it would stand up. But we could always put it in and wait for it to be challenged. Because
Well, you know, I think I know the reason it's in there is because it has nothing to do with John. This has to do with anybody that would develop this is a trust factor, that they're not going to try to wiggle their way through loopholes and things
well,
like that.
I think, you know, the way the regulations are written for the planning board, I think that is the state's way of allowing it to leave it in the hands of the planning board. And hopefully the public, the community is trusting their planning board. You know, not all decisions of a planning board are going to be favorable to the entire community. But the planning board has a lot to look at when these applications come forward. First of all, you know, whether it meets the zoning bylaw or not, whether it's defendable in a community standpoint. You know, there's a lot of things that the planning board, is it good for the town? You can't sometimes just worry about the 30 or 50 people that live right around it that are impacted. You got to look at whether it's good for the entire community, and that's how you make your decisions. It's not, you know, people vote these zoning bylaws in, and you have to make decisions for an entire community. So it makes sense. But.
Yeah, so the reason I brought that up, the 100% wasn't just the legality of it, but I've been in, there was another board, not this town, another town fairly local to here, that had a member on it for 5 years and never voted to approve one thing that came in front of them for 5 years.
Yeah, this is all regarding waivers, though. This isn't decisions. I mean, you
100%,
can't.
is it just waivers or is it decisions?
It was on
Just waivers.
Just waivers.
Oh, I don't-
Yeah.
I thought it was defined.
No,
No, that you can't do.
That-
That-
That's what I.
That you can't
that's
do.
what I thought it
Yeah.
said.
No, this is just,
I'm good with it then, don't worry.
Yeah, you can't change the statute on what a.
Final decision.
no.
One-fifth for a special permit and 3/5 for a site
Don't
plan.
even look into it, I'm fine.
It's like, holy cow.
I thought it was the final decision.
But,
No,
yeah, once again, you know, I think, you know, sometimes things get lost as we go along, but I can rest assured for the time I've been on the planning board, the members that I've dealt with only care for the community. I mean, we all live here, reside here, and own businesses here. And we all care about this community. I personally, my entire 57 years, 58 years now, has been spent in this community. Grew up playing ball with everybody. Know most of the people in this town. Kathy, your husband was my first basketball coach, so. So we go way back in this community, and
how'd you do?
that was pretty good, wasn't I, Kathy?
You're awesome.
But it was all because of Tom. But no, it's everybody cares. We just, like I said, it's important to us that we represent the entire community, not just a few. But hopefully, you know, when these bylaws go through, they do that. They represent everyone. So, other than that, I'm going to ask for a motion on the floor to continue this till next Monday.
Make a motion to continue the public hearing for zoning bylaws to Monday, May 1st, 6 PM.
Second.
Any questions? Hands up out there. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Damon?
Aye, aye.
Thank you, guys, very,
All
very,
right,
very.
we'll see. I just need one
I'll
more.
call you.
I just need one more motion on the
I
floor.
want to
Oh,
know,
we gotta do the.
no,
Oh.
we gotta do the 81P.
Oh, the 81P, yes. Thank you, everyone, for the time. Now, this is for where?
Played today.
36 Milford Street.
This is the,
Oh, this is the conservation piece you're breaking off. All right.
she had to go get the,
Yeah, do we have it?
So what the town did is we put out to bid all this, and then there's a second sheet that goes up here.
I see. It's got a match.
So that's what we put out to bid. They,
Which one?
all this, all right?
Okay, then the company that wanted the storage units, they took that.
They're taking this, they're giving this to.
I think this is the one you're on, is it?
No, they're here. Absolutely here.
So we want to create this lot and this lot.
Well, it's all one, and then this
Right.
is the key to it.
So we're just busting this into three pieces. I got you. But
Now, who's gonna own
now
this?
why, this is all the ledge, right?
Yeah.
So it's really useless anyway.
Yeah, it's useless.
All right.
Hey, I made a mistake on the date.
Now I'm concerned with this parcel. Is that,
Okay, so this should be okay
what's
now.
with you?
Hey, Bill, do you want me to sign? You guys got enough people to sign?
We got enough. No, we got enough.
All right.
So this has the time. I mean, the town man, I don't get water and sewer. Work. They want to
I don't think they're gonna give this away.
No, they're turning into conservation.
They're giving this back. They want everything.
This is gonna,
Right, conservation, town, development.
So what are they doing? This is part of the conservation.
Right. This, right here. That is where the solar.
Solar. Yeah, that one's kind of different, but this one here. My point was this here, but I don't think
And
it's.
that way it keeps the road.
The whole thing's only, yeah, that's right, there's an easement on it, so it's something. All right, yeah, I'm okay with it. There's a new all dimensional.
Oh, okay. Right, no.
They all get the correct frontage.
Yeah.
Do we need a motion?
Yeah, Mark. So we can have the other one here. The other business. Is there? He gave us everything Gail wanted. How many did they have? There's 2 sheets per Form A, 81 feet.
Looks like it's three.
There's usually 4. 4 paper and 1 Mylar.
Okay, this goes way up. See?
Yeah, this,
This is a big plan.
yeah, okay, well, it tells you where the line is.
Yeah.
So this meets with sheet 2, which one's sheet 2?
This one is.
So this one goes up here.
The Mylar you have to.
Yeah, I'm not,
See this line? That's good.
yeah. Yeah, so these two,
Yeah, that's the.
these two are the same
They
thing.
used to go together.
Oh, they're the same thing.
Yeah, they go together.
It's gotta be summary.
That's what I'm saying.
You're gonna get it all screwed up here. Let's keep it
Too
three.
late, it already is.
No, because this is the way this is. Don't keep moving.
Well,
If we agree.
just start stamping everything.
You want every single one stamped, Jack?
I want every single, I
Let's,
want the Mylar done. That's what I care about the
yeah,
most.
the rest of them go on the files. Just stamp the front,
Just that
just
one.
stamp page one. That's all you need.
I want the town to get their
Stamp
$400,000
page one,
and their
that's like,
$40,000 for the trail.
and then the Mylar, we have to sign them all. Where's the Mylar?
We need a vote.
Where's the Mylar?
Three, Bill?
Where's the Mylar? Is this the Mylar
Everything
here?
was there, no,
You have the Mylar, Jimmy?
that whole place thing was there.
Yeah.
So this is the other,
Yeah, and it's in order. Right here. Let's do that one first, Jimmy. Right here.
Bill, do you want to make, have a motion?
Yeah, I need a motion.
I'll make a motion for the 81 P,
36.
36 Milford Street,
Lot 36A and
lot
36B.
36A, 36B.
I thought there were three lots.
Do I have a
And
second?
36,
Second.
There is,
36.
one was the original, so.
Okay,
Parceling off
They're the
36A and B.
okay.
So I need a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
So,
Thank you,
I
Damon.
just have to sign it, please.
You're the man.
All right? What?
Nothing but the best for you, Jack.
We still have to close the meeting.
So tomorrow I'll call that guy Dave and he'll come and get the Mylar.
Oh, okay.
He can record it.
Are you done with the meeting with Gail? Get the motion to adjourn?
They haven't, no one's made a motion to adjourn.
Oh, we're
Do you
still
want me
signing.
to make one, Bill?
They're still signing the papers, the 81P.
But then, once it's recorded, they have to go to the Board of Selectmen and transfer the property.
I just do the fun.
I don't know.
Those is-
what they're gonna do. I heard about Kim.
You want all of them, Bill?
On the Mylar.
And these here, you
I'm just saying,
Oh, we already sent the paper for Form A. We already did those.
yeah, we already signed that one. All right. Yeah, we only need the front one stamped. We shouldn't have to stamp those other paper ones, right? Just the front page. In case someone wants to. All right, well, you feel like we're just stamping?
No.
Yes. Can I have a motion?
Second.
We have a motion to
Aye.
adjourn the floor? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Aye. Have a good night.
Meeting
guys.
is closed.
Good job, Bill.